What is up? Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. I am your host, Jesse Martin. I am here with my trusty sidekick, my co-pilot, Keith Gray. How you doing, my man?
What up? What up? I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm actually really excited about this show. I know we're going to be talking to some things that, I don't really have a lot of expertise in. So I'm here for the education, man. I'm ready to learn something from Adam, ready to learn something from you guys on some of these topics, and let's get it going.
Yeah, man. And speaking of Adam, we have Adam Aniba from the Burgundy and Gold Report has joined us. We're going to talk some free agency. We're going to talk some draft, and stay tuned to the end of the show because we have an exclusive interview with the boner of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones. Yes, I said it. Jerry Jones is going to join us at the end of the podcast. So please stick with us. And Duke, you better stop bugging me. So here we go. Adam.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Let's get it going. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, appreciate you being here. Let's get right at it. Let's talk some free agents to start with, man. All this quarterback talk going on. Okay. Yeah. That's our biggest need. I'm getting sick and tired of talking about quarterbacks, but unfortunately, that's just where the conversation's at right now. There's a lot of things that are up in the air. We just got, words come down that Alex Smith is probably going to be released this week. Things might start, moving pretty fast. What is your take on it?
I think, like I said, just like last year when you saw them go for Amari Cooper and a miss, and it's becoming very bland. Everyone's saying the same thing, of course, but it's valid at this point. And they did the same thing with Stafford. So I think to expect another big move, it's out of the question. I think fans need to get the idea. This is the year of the bridge. And again, I'm not talking about what I want or whatever as a fan. I try to separate myself when I'm evaluating who goes on a team. And Cam Newton, as crazy as it is, listen, you're going to trade for one quarterback in Allen. You're going to bring Taylor in. That's one. And then if you're talking about Cam Newton, I don't think there's going to be a huge market for him. So if you're talking about quarterback in the realm of $10 million, after they release Alex Smith, they're going to get over 14. So I think that's something we could see, but just because Cam Newton comes here doesn't mean he beats out everyone. I think people do sleep a little bit on the guys that we have. Cam Newton's at the end of his career. To expect 10 games would probably be hopeful. So it's not about getting that franchise this year, solidifying those pieces on defense, getting some skill players on offense. That gets you to 11, 12 wins competing for, the division, playoff wins. Not everything has to be Super Bowl or bust because Washington's not there yet.
Sure. I want to stay on Cam Newton just for a second. I'm glad you brought it up. The only way I would be comfortable with Cam Newton coming here and playing is if he actually was in a competition with the other quarterbacks that are on the roster. I want to know that arm is healthy. All right. Yep. I don't want Cam Newton here. I think he's done. Me personally. I have a feeling if Cam Newton does come here, he's probably going to get handed the job, but it's just my personal opinion. I think they should have a competition if they want to bring him in. Keith, what you got, man?
Well, I don't know if I agree with you, Jesse, but I can understand your sentiment on it. I think a lot of other people feel the same way as well. And, honestly, I'm not going to argue it because, we don't know if his shoulder is 100% healthy. But
mystery.
Yeah, but I do want to touch base with what Adam said. I think that this is not the year of the bridge quarterback. If it's a possible.
That's a hope. Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's a hope. And here's why I say that. I mean, we all knew that Washington was in play for Matthew Stafford. So that right there told everyone that we are in the market for a QB1. Not necessarily saying that we don't have a QB1 on our roster, no matter how my opinion is. I'm not Ron. I don't know how he feels. Right. But we were throwing the cards at Matthew Stafford. We're going to throw the cards at someone else too. Okay.
Oh, you're not wrong about that. Yeah.
So the thing is who are we going to throw the cards to? I mean, we know that, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, their names are thrown out there. The wants for those two guys, I don't think is going to be possible, but we have a weird situation happening out there in Dallas. So
I like it.
There is a weird situation happening in Dallas. And so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and
the chirps coming into action on the Chirp Burgundy podcast.
The chirp is dead, but listen, take this for what it's worth. But I can tell you right now that if Dak were to hit the market, if he were not to be tagged, it has been said that Washington is in love with Dak and Dak would become our QB1. So there's heavy interest in Dak Prescott. It's not when he was caught following the team. What was it on Instagram?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. That was done on purpose. And then he unfollowed. He wanted Jerry Jones to see that there are potential interests. Now, I'm not going to say that there was any tampering. That's not my place. I have no idea, and I would never talk upon that.
I think that'd be on Dak anyways. You know, we didn't instigate that.
Definitely.
Sure. But the word around the street is that Washington is in love with Dak. And I get what people might say from that. Well, we're in love with any, quarterback.
No, he's good though. Anybody who
Dak,
says anything different is just hating me. Listen, this is 2021, man.
Yep.
The rivalry is there. It's not against the players. The rivalry is against teams, not players. So if you think Dak is not good because of the Dallas Cowboys, then you just don't watch football, man. That guy could come in instantly 12-13 win team with the guy.
If you don't have a Deshaun Watson, if you don't have a Russell Wilson, a Tom Brady, a Patrick Mahomes, you're going to want a Dak Prescott. I mean, plain and simple.
So Dallas is actually in a tricky situation, and there was a lot of conversation on Twitter today where it was discussed, well, they're going to tag them.
They can't. That's 2 times.
Listen, that might be an issue. They are going to have to move around a ton of people, move around a ton of monies. They're going to have to make cuts. And now what Dallas is faced with is, are we wanting to tie in all this money on a QB? Yes, who is a QB1, but he is now coming off of an injury. Mm-hmm. So now this has become more of a risk for another team to come out and take this guy and pay him for what he wants. But more than anything else, people are not paying attention to the complete disrespect he is getting from the owner. Okay. If they felt that he was the number one guy, they wouldn't waste their money tagging. He would be on a big contract right now. Okay.
100%.
And he's not getting that contract. And now he's out there doing indirect things that these players tend to do to play these games. And you know what? I don't blame them. Play the games, because at the end of the day, they're trying to get their bag. They're trying to secure their bag. There's no loyalty. Okay. Dak doesn't love Dallas. Dak doesn't love Washington. Dak loves money. All right. And I'm guarantee you, with us being, well, okay, let me take back the guarantee. As what was said is, if Dak is not tagged by the Cowboys, he will be our QB1. Take it for what it's worth, but that's what I was told.
That's a bold statement right there. But guess what?
It's a bold statement.
I'm all for that shit right there.
I'm risking the 5% of credibility that I even have, right? At the end of the day, listen, I'm just a guy at the couch. I'm a guy on the couch with a stupid ass opinion and take, right? But
there you go.
I truly trust the person that fed me this information. And what's interesting is these weren't even nuggets. This was information with details. So I have to be careful with how I present the details. So
there you go.
You just take, we're all fans here. So take what I say is could happen. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
Right? Yeah. Take the disclaimer. You say, I'm with it, man. I'm with it, bro.
I mean, it would be nice that would definitely shore up our quarterback situation for a very long time. I mean, if not, we're going to go bridge. I mean, whether it's a Cam Newton or Fitzpatrick or a Mariota, well, we got to do something. We're not content with what we have now. As many people out there that love what Taylor Heinicke did, I loved it too. Okay. You can't expect him to go in there as your QB1. Just can't do it.
It's too much of a short sample size. Yeah. And it's the same thing with Kyle Allen. And the thing I'll say, we talk about Cam Newton and everything. A 5th round pick is a 5th round pick, guys. Sure. So, I think you say Cam Newton, 5th round pick. So where do you put his value? Personally, like you said, questionable armor thing, I put it around that 4th, 5th round value if you really talked about a trade. So I think that all of those guys in camp, the thing is, who's healthy? So I think exactly like you guys said, I think they're going to have a lot of competition because I think you got literally 15 teams looking for starting quarterbacks. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I think Washington has the money, they have the resources, but that's the problem. When you have not enough supply and too much demand, that's going to be the issue. And that's why I'm being a realist about it. I feel like more like this is a year they're going to really try to build that offensive line up. And again, it might be unpopular opinion, but I don't think making a guard the highest paid guy in the league, or even a $15 million
with you.
is the way to go.
I'm
I
kinda
could
with
talk
you,
about
and
five guys in this draft that within 2 years I think could be not quite at his level, but be good enough that you'll be like, hey, 2 guys we got in this draft rather than 15 million, I'll take it. So that's just my 2 cents.
It's the unpopular opinion, man, but I tend to agree with you. It's just so much money for a guard. You know, go ahead.
I was going to say, let me say this too. This is now going into, Ron Rivera's 2nd year. Okay.
Yeah.
We all know coaching. I don't care who you are. You're on at least a 4 to 5 year seat. Okay. Mm-hmm. Year 4, it starts to get hot. Year 5, you're gone. Okay. If year 4, you're terrible, you're probably gone then too. Okay. Plus we have multiple contracts that we're going to have to deal with, especially on that defensive line. Yep. People need to pay attention to now. And the reason why I say that is because we are in win now mode. Okay. Ron Rivera said it last year. He didn't give up. And even though we got into the playoffs with 7-9, he never stopped playing during the season. That we weren't tanking for a low draft pick. We are in win now mode. And so therefore, when I think like that, that's what makes me truly believe that Washington is going to get that QB1 that we are looking for. I don't think they're looking for a bridge. I
agree. The only thing I'm going to say is we'll get into the draft, because that's where I think they have a way better chance. Because I think in free agency, it's like you said, money talks, and they have money, but there's a team with more money and more resources. So that's I think draft, you have I'm not even talking about a guy I'm choosing, but they'll have more options there.
Fair enough. I just think that you're not going to want to wait on a draft for that. You're going to want your QB1 now, because now you also have other needs, that you need to go after, and you need that sexy QB1 on that roster in order to have a wide receiver 1/2 come to the team. So I don't know when you guys are going to get into maybe wide receiver talk.
We're about to in just a minute. That's a good segue right there. Enough with the quarterback talks. We'll get back to that when we start talking about the draft. But we need a wide receiver. Okay. I've been pounding this for months now. I do not believe we need to go after a wide receiver 1. Okay. I do not believe, even if Robinson doesn't get tagged, I don't believe we need to go after him. I think it's a waste of money. Yes, he's a fantastic. I would love it. I wouldn't hate it if he was on the team.
Who wouldn't?
But we have Terry. Okay. We have multiple wide receiver spots that we need to fill. We need a good wide receiver 2, and we need a slot. Whether we get 2 out of free agents, because there's plenty of them, plenty of good receivers in free agency that are going to be available. Or we're definitely going to get at least 1 in free agency, or get one and get one in the draft. My dream scenario is to pick up a Corey Davis and to either get a Curtis Samuel or get like Elijah Moore or someone like that in the draft. What do you think there, Adam?
Like you said, it keeps coming back to the Carolina connection. Samuel to me seems the most logical, because if you look at Spot Track, I think it was around the realm of probably about 10 million. I think they had him around 9. So that seems logical. Corey Davis, I love him, man. But let me tell you about him, man. He's young, he's talented, and had a great year. Don't be surprised if he ends up being one of the top paid wide receivers. He's going to get overpaid.
Really?
That's what
I'm thinking 14 million. You can get him.
No way. Nope. Spot Track has it at least about, and I listen to Spot Track because every year that goes by, I see how close were they. They're damn close. Over the cap, I stopped. It's the Spot Track. They're always off by just a smidgen. But with Corey Davis, what it is with him is projection, it's age. And there was a salary cap estimate, I think 27 million increase next year. He's going to get paid for future production. So the 20 million, someone's going to do it. I have a feeling it's going to be between that 17 to $20 million range. Maybe it'll be more with incentives, but I think at minimum, 16 is probably what you're going to see. He's going to be one of the top wide receivers in this class. Personally, I think Washington, I like him a lot, but that's a lot of money. And I thought it was a lot of money for Cooper too. So I'm looking more, like you said, more at the Samuel guys. And I think, we can talk the draft. There's a bunch of guys, with multiple third-round picks, second-round picks. You don't even have to go that round the first round. So, man, there's options, bro. There's options.
That's interesting. I wouldn't have thought Corey Davis would go for wide receiver 1 money, even though I don't think he's a wide receiver 1. I think he's a perfect 2, but I guess we'll see. You never know. This is going to be a crazy year, especially for free agents and their contracts, because yes, the salary cap is going to be down. We still don't know exactly what it's going to be, but there's going to be a lot of 1-year contracts out there. All right, we touched on wide receivers. Okay. We know that we need them. I want to move to the defensive side of the ball.
Well, hold on.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Hold on.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Hold on, sir. Don't skip me on the wide receivers.
Okay. All right, go ahead. What you got?
All right. So I'm in full agreement with Adam. I've actually had Allen Robinson number 1 and Corey Davis number 2. Okay. Allen Robinson is most likely definitely going to get tagged with Chicago, in my opinion. Okay.
Agree.
So then that's going to put Corey Davis right there at that number 2 spot. And I think right there is the reason why he's going to get overpaid, because he is young. He's everything that Adam basically said he was.
You guys got him both over Chris Godwin?
Supply and demand. And Chris Godwin is more of a niche guy. You know what he's going to do. Corey Davis, man, we're just seeing what he can do. Put him, you've seen what he can do with a team with the run game. Don't sleep. He's probably one of the best class. So that matters to teams. I think Rivera would love that. So don't be surprised. Don't make a run at him. So it's not like they went for Cooper and they're done. Yeah. They're going to make a run at, everyone's talking about quarterback. They're going to make a run at receiver, but like we keep saying, I think it's second tier and they'll probably be in competition. So it's all about the competition, not about what they want to do.
What you got, Keith?
Jesse, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
Uh-oh.
Here it goes again. What do we got?
All right. So plan of attack. We first talked about Dak, right? Dak's going to cost some money. So therefore, if Dak is going to cost some money, then these top wide receivers that we're talking about in free agency, chances are will not make the squad based upon where they're at with their market. So with that being said, it has been notated that there is heavy interest with Juju. Oh. Now that's going to be unpopular with a lot of people. However,
this guy included,
the details. Hold on. There's details. Okay. I didn't have to put a puzzle together to figure out what was being told, but the details is there's heavy interest. Meaning the Washington football team, sees Juju being successful at that wide receiver 2 slot. Okay. Where he lined up with AB and was very successful. So if we're talking Terry McLaurin being
good point,
wide receiver 1, then Juju can come in and potentially be a wide receiver 2. Now, with that being said, let me pull this disclaimer one more time. I'm not saying that Juju is definitely coming to Washington, but all this talk about all these top-notch receivers, you have to be careful, because if the cards fall into place to where I believe from what I'm hearing is you get Dak, you got to go to a different tier bracket with wide receiver, but still pull someone in who's shown some success. Juju's going to be that guy. Okay. That's their heavy interest. Now we don't pull Dak. Chances are we might be able to throw more money than at some of the top receivers, but with Allen Robinson getting tagged, these other guys, it's a crapshoot in this game. Okay. So again, not saying Juju's coming, because anything that's being told about free agency market is fluid information, but where we should focus is who the team is actually interested in. And there's not a lot of talk and there's not a lot of background noise, and there's not a lot of fact checking when I speak with other folks behind the scenes that these top wide receivers that we're talking about are even in conversation. So we need to dial it back. And also I want to make a point. They're a free agent, right? They have a decision.
Yep.
Okay. So we can have all the interest in the world, right? I have the interest
that after come here.
I have interest that after I eat Taco Bell, I must take a shit within 3 to 4 hours.
Oh, man.
I cannot go to bed
Oh,
with Taco Bell in my belly, right?
you
In my
can't eat,
stomach.
man. You can't listen, man. I gotta talk to you. You're a grown man. Come on, man.
I'm just saying.
1995, I'm with you, man. I'm at the mall. I'm getting the Taco Bell, everything. But
Right.
now, man, that ain't food anymore, bro.
Well,
That
listen.
stuff's not food.
Listen.
I get the munchies, but I'm never gonna go there, man.
Right. Well, that's why I want it out of my system after a couple hours.
There you go.
My point is this is fluid information, but hopefully this sets the tone to the realities of what we're truly looking at here. So
everything that you said makes sense about Juju, and maybe there's some connections here. Me personally, I'm not fond of Juju. I'm not fond of he seems like a me first and not a team player.
Coach.
You know what I mean?
And
I think
if
if anybody can get his head right, it would be Ron Rivera.
Right.
But
I don't listen.
He was with Tomlin though, so that kind of I don't know.
That's a good point about Tomlin. He was already with the disciplinarian. So
yeah,
I don't think though.
I
listen. A lot of people don't like his antics. Okay.
Yeah.
He's been doing this for years. He just started TikToking and doing all of that stuff, and it's rubbing folks the wrong way. But again, take a step back, man. Football is supposed to be fun.
It's a different generation. That's the thing. That's the thing. Again, the old man on the couch mentality is what bothers me.
Well,
like you have to adjust.
Listen,
sure.
We're thinking back in the early 2000s, maybe even late 90s, where T.O.'s running to the star and doing like, stop it. At the end of the like that's all gone and over with. The guy, in my personal opinion, the guy, he's just having fun, and he's creating a market for himself, which I think that's why people don't like it, is because he's creating the Juju brand, and it's not coming across as it's a team type, brand. But he hasn't really done anything, in my opinion, for people to have this poor, like they're treating him like he's AB, and stop it, because it's not the case. Now,
you gotta bring an argument to me. You got to bring an argument, not that I don't like him. You better bring an argument and say, listen, well, when Nerf turn, I want to see him do motions. I want to see this, and he doesn't do that good. Then I'll say it. But when you say you don't flat out like him because of his antics or anything, that's a horrible, horrible argument, because having him as your 2 is a lot different than counting him as a 1, even if you're paying him 1 money. Yeah. So,
correct. In my personal opinion, Juju's not even a 1 to begin with.
No, I don't think so either. Absolutely.
But he can still get 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns.
He sure could.
Of course, when you're doubling AB, you get open, and that's the same thing that's happening to Terry too, is Terry's going to get double. But now you got both. What are you going to do? Someone's going to thrive. Yeah. And, so it's not out of the picture. And I think that we need to temper. See, the problem with the fan base, especially on Twitter, is we think we're getting every free agent that's coming.
Yes. Right. Oh God, yes. Everybody. I've had so many arguments about Allen Robinson. I'm like, oh God, even if he was available, he wouldn't want to come here.
Not now.
I mean,
that's too late in his career. He's too late.
Yeah,
this is his
last
big
win.
deal.
He wants to win, and he wants to get paid good money, but he wants to go somewhere with a quarterback. He's played with shit quarterbacks his entire career. I mean,
watch, if he doesn't get franchised, watch him somehow, some way, I don't know how with their salary cap, but end up in Tampa Bay, because it would have been
that wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Tampa Bay is going to be the new super team. If they can figure out ways to do it, they're going to be the new super team. So watch out for some of those guys to be available, like OJ Howard guys.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, now that Keith's done with his little caca and interesting tidbit about Juju Schuster.
Let me remind you too, Jesse, sorry to interrupt. I do have a third, but we can wait till the end of the show on that one.
Okay. All right. I will try to remember that. I want to move over to the defensive side of the ball.
Thank you.
Love it. The biggest issue, the biggest hole that we have is linebacker. We got to do something at linebacker. Now, there is not that many free agents, linebackers coming up this year. Your big ones are Levante David and KJ Wright. Levante David would be nice to have on this roster. What do you think, Adam? What do you think's out there that we could reasonably get?
Yeah. And the thing is, I caught a lot of smoke. I got a lot of attention, but I caught a lot of smoke on my Levante David, Washington potential. But I put him in there as a top 5 potential team just because of the salary cap they have, what his market is, and he's going to get a hell of a lot of money. And that's the only argument people are having. So realistically, yes.
What is he, 32, 31?
No, he'll be 30. He'll be 31.
Okay.
But the thing is, what I always tell to people is, yes, that money matters, but it also matters with that contract. If you're talking about a 4 to 5 year, hell no. It's if you have 4 to 5 year, you better get out in 3. So that's what it's going to happen. Any of these big guys are signed, like Keith said, 1 year deals, or you said 1 year deals, 2 year deals. It'll be more like 3-4 year deals that have get outs and 2 years. Yeah. So, Levante David could get $40 million probably in his first 2 years. Like, it's crazy money, but that's what could happen the way it's structured. Okay. Realistically, no. Realistically, it's the draft, and you tell me when you're ready, because, man, there's some guys in this draft that are going to kill it.
Yes,
if they're in
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, man. Personally, I think we should blow up the linebacker room, keep everybody but Cole Holcomb, and start from scratch.
100%.
I think that's our weakest spot on the defense. We could be a freaking badass defense if we can shore up that linebacker spot. We really could. Our run defense was mediocre at times at best, and all out shitty. Pretty much a lot of the times.
Right.
We have one of the best defensive lines in the league. Let's get this linebacker spot shored up, and let's freaking go into a game and offenses are going to be afraid to play us. I want that. I want that feeling. Keith, what you got? You got anything on the linebackers?
Go get Dak, go get Juju, and get your linebacker at 19.
There you go.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that too. That the wide receiver Juju is going to be one of them. But listen, you can't argue upgrade a wide receiver, starting middle linebacker. You really can't argue with that, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's time. We are going to take a break. We'll be back in just a few. That we're going to move over to the draft, and we got some exciting players to talk about.